What's up, guys? I'm Laura from Reading in Bed, here today with two quick announcements. One is the winner of my giveaway from last week, and the other is an announcement of my big summer read-along this year. So, the giveaway. That was a thank you for gaining 500 subscribers here on this channel, and I talked about 5 of my favorite literary journals and magazines, and the prize was that you can pick one of them and I will give you a 1-year subscription. So, thanks to everybody who watched and commented on that video, and the winner, very excited to announce, was Jen from Insert Literary Pun Here, and the journal that she chose was Book Forum. It's an old issue there. Now, I think this is a really good choice for her because Book Forum tends to publish longer and really meaty reviews of current American fiction. So, I mean, that's totally her bag, right? And Jen, I think once you start reading a couple of these issues and getting into it, you should submit, because I think you would really, your kind of analysis and commentary of current fiction would really fit in with what Book Forum has to offer. So no pressure, I'll be in touch soon and we'll get that subscription going for you. Now, on the read-along front, so I do a big summer read-along every year, and I try to pick books that are more than 1,000 pages long, because I just like to get into big books during the summer. Why not? So this year, we're going to be doing The Count of Monte Cristo. Hashtag is the full Monte. And we're going to be reading this over about 6 weeks, starting July 2nd and I think ending kind of midway through August. I'm also doing a bit of a warm-up round, because speaking of those literary journals, The Happy Reader, which is actually my favorite, every issue focuses on a classic novel, and the summer issue is focused on The Black Tulip. So this is just a little guy compared to The Count of Monte Cristo. So I'm trying to squeeze this in prior to July 2nd and then really getting going with this bad boy. So you'll want to head over to my blog if you want to take part in that read-along, because that's really where my read-alongs live. I'll link to the master post if you want to join. Just drop a comment there. I'm pretty informal with read-alongs. I will post every Monday, and that can just be kind of a place for discussion and whatever. If you want to post, make videos, whatever, you can, or you can just comment on my posts. Totally up to you. No real rules. I do a giveaway there at the end too. So I give away a t-shirt either from Lithographs or out of print. I think for Count of Monte Cristo, Lithographs is the only one. So if you want to get in on that giveaway, make sure you do comment on that post, because that's the only place I look when I'm doing the giveaway. That'll be coming later in August. So I'm already kind of working on my first post. I'll have something up prior to July 2nd. Of course, since we'll have just started reading, it won't be a recap. What I try to do for that first post is look into the author's biography and the context the book was written in. I had Alexandre Dumas, who I haven't read yet, anything, by the way, other than I've started The Black Tulip. I just had him sort of lumped in with like 19th century dead white dudes. The first thing I found out before I even chose this book was that he is not a dead white dude. He was of mixed race. Had no idea. From there, I'm finding out more about his family history. There's a lot of tragedy. There's a lot of injustice. And, you start to see why some of his books have those sort of injustice and revenge themes, maybe. And then his actual life was totally scandalous and crazy too, which I didn't have any idea about. He had, I think Wikipedia said, of his 40 known mistresses, so presumably there were more, many of whom were actresses, many of whom were many decades younger than him. He made and lost fortunes. He was, involved in revolutionary activity, crazy stuff. I had no idea. But probably the most interesting and scandalous thing that I've found out so far, and I've just started digging into this, is that he wrote with a writing partner, and that was not a secret. It wasn't, it was very well known, it seems, at the time. I think the guy's name was McKay. And so his writing partner would sort of sketch out the plots and the characters, and then Dumas would go in and write the actual, flowery prose that we expect from our 19th century authors. So that's really interesting. I mean, we kind of know that sort of thing goes on these days. I mean, I don't think Nora Roberts or James Patterson is really cranking out 2 or 3 entire novels a year. I don't know. But we don't really acknowledge it, and people are just so funny about, who gets credited and plagiarism and all those things. So I was just really surprised to find that. And at the time, he actually was accused of going farther than that and like just paying people to write his books and stamping his name on it, running a fiction factory basically. So that's really interesting too. I mean, this is just my sort of initial Googling and Wikipedia searches, not even digging that deep, and I'm already finding all sorts of crazy stuff. So this is going to be a good one. I mean, apart from the fact that from what I know about this book, it's very fast-paced, you know, very plot-based. I think this is going to be a really fun read-along, a little different from some of the other books that we've done over the years. So do join me with that if you can. And I'll just give a quick shout out too to one other read-along that I'm going to join. I'm not much of a joiner. I'm more of a host for read-alongs, but Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading is doing a read-along for Sag Harbor by Colson Whitehead. So this is sort of the opposite of the kinds of read-alongs I do, in that the author is alive. It's a shorter book. As far as I know, it's, you know, it's like a coming-of-age semi-autobiographical novel, so it doesn't sound like it's going to be too complex, although the other novels I've read by him certainly were sort of experimental-ish, so we'll see. And because it's sort of a booktube-based read-along, I think the discussions take place in Goodreads. That seems to be how things work in booktube. Again, like I've talked about this before, but I don't really, you know, I haven't done a buddy read yet, although I'm working on that, and I don't really know how these things work so much in booktube. On my book blog, I've been doing that a long time. I know how that works. But I'm excited to do that read-along. I mean, with Dee Dee as a host, it's going to be good. And with Colson Whitehead as the author we're reading. So I'll link to her video about that. I believe that's starting around the same time, so I'll be reading Sag Harbor and The Count of Monte Cristo and probably some other stuff in July too. So that's it. So congratulations to Jen. I will be in touch soon about your book forum subscription. If anyone wants to join me in the full Monte read-along, as it's known, and read The Count of Monte Cristo with me this year, do come over to the blog and let me know that you're joining, and join me with Dee Dee's read-along too. Thanks for watching, guys.